Hi everybody, welcome back. So as I said in my last video, I was going to do a chatty get ready with me where I talked about some pregnancy stuff. I've never done something like this before. Like, I've done get ready with me videos, but normally I just do the makeup and kind of put music on it and subtitle it and stuff. So this is going to be a little bit different for me. This is going to be the first time I've done something like this. So we'll see how it goes for my first time doing this. I've got my little basket of makeup here with my upside down electric palette, which I'm really excited to play around with just because it's summertime and hey, you know, why not? You can't really see what my shirt is, but it's like, I'm wearing a dress, it's like purple and pink and stuff, so I thought why not use super bright colors for my eyes and just have a little bit of fun today. So that's what I'm going to do. First things first, I'm going in with my eye primer. This is Lorac primer. I don't know if I'm really gonna like detail like everything I'm gonna do. Instead, I'd rather just kind of chat with you guys. So let's see. I am 32 weeks, which is crazy. I have like roughly 8 weeks left, depending on when he decides to make his entrance. I feel like I've known for a long time, and then really it's because like we found out just before the New Year's Eve, a couple days before that, and it was really kind of surprising that it happened so soon after moving into the house. It was what we wanted, but we just didn't think it was going to happen so quickly. I mean, we had been trying before we lived in the apartment, but it was kind of like we were trying, but then also kind of almost hoping it wasn't going to be successful during that time so that we had enough time to move, and it just like things just lined up so well. So let's see, after I found out we like everything was kind of normal. I didn't really feel that different. I didn't really experience any kind of symptoms really until probably about January, like middle of January. So I found out at the end of December, and it was probably about a month later before I started to feel anything, like any kind of symptoms. And then what ended up happening is I ended up dealing with some of that morning sickness stuff, and it was just not, it was a really tough time for a little while. I wasn't so much sick every day. My prenatal vitamins were actually making me sick. I did get the flu on top of it, which was, you know, great. My energy was pretty much zero, and I was just tired all the time. So the tiredness in the first trimester was the worst. I mean, once I realized my prenatals were causing me to be so sick, I was able to switch and find a different kind. So I wasn't feeling quite so bad, like sickness-wise. And then once I got over the flu, of course, it was probably not until end of March when I started to feel better again, and it was just like a couple of weeks into the second trimester, which is what they say. I was a little bit concerned because I wasn't feeling super great and energized. Like, they kind of tell you like, oh, the second trimester is magical and you all of a sudden have more energy, and it was a couple weeks into it and I wasn't feeling any more energetic, and I was still feeling tired, and I was like, oh no, am I gonna be one of those people that just kind of feels down like the whole time? I guess not really down, but just kind of exhausted, really. But then it kind of, I had like this upturn where all of a sudden everything was really good for a little period of time, and I had a lot of energy and nothing was bothering me. I wasn't even really showing yet. Like, people at work, we told them in like April, and some people still didn't know by June because they couldn't tell. But then all of a sudden it was like, I went from being like barely having like a baby bump to being like, okay, you're definitely pregnant, which was really kind of a adjustment for me, for sure. It was just sort of a weird experience. just people, you know, having people talk to you about it and being like, oh, how does it feel? How does this feel? And it just feels kind of strange, even still, when people are like talking to me about it at work. It's just, it still doesn't feel quite real. So I'm 32 weeks now. I'm in the 3rd trimester. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired again, which, as I've read in all my books, is to be expected because you're carrying a lot more weight around with you. You've got this like 4 or 5 pound baby inside of you that's putting on weight all the time, and all your organs are like all squished up. And I really noticed a really hard time breathing recently when I've been doing things like I could normally do. Mostly as like if I'm walking like to catch the bus at the end of the day, and it's only like a 10-minute walk, but by the time I get there, like I have to climb stairs and everything else, and by the time I get there I'm like, oh my god, I can't breathe, like what's wrong with me? And it's because your organs squish up so much and your lungs don't have enough room to expand like they did before. And oh man, I can't wait till that's done, because it's just really uncomfortable. And the hard thing, like for me with my job, is normally pretty active, and I'm used to doing a certain activity level. And when I can't do it because I get so tired, or just because like there is some physical limitations, I used to be able to just kind of like bend straight over, like touch my toes kind of stuff, like very flexible, former gymnast, that kind of stuff. And now I can't really do that because it's uncomfortable, because you have the stomach there that's just kind of in the way. And it's really frustrating because you're like, I want to do these things, but I can't do them. I just physically can't do it because it would actually cause me pain to do that kind of stuff. Oh my god, like that's just not a good thing for me. I will be glad when I can kind of go back to my normal pace eventually. People have been pretty understanding. Getting my partner to understand has been a little bit of a challenge. He doesn't seem to quite understand that I do have some limitations. I can't quite do things the exact same way that I did before. I just can't do some of the stuff. I can't just like some simple things, like if we had our recyclables in a box on the floor and we were sorting them, I can't just bend over and get the recyclables to start sorting them. Like I have to like get into a position, and he's like, what are you doing? Just do it. It's like, no, you don't understand. I can't just do it because it's really uncomfortable and painful to just do something like that, just to bend over and pick something up. And that's one of the things that I guess I just, you know your body changes and things, and it's one of those things that I guess I just wasn't as fully prepared for as maybe I could have been. But it's not like when you're reading about pregnancy and stuff, it's like you get a lot of the warnings. Like there are people who will tell you like, oh, this will happen and this will happen. But I guess didn't hear that much stuff about like the kind of things that would happen. So basically, baby-wise, everything's good. When I have my doctor's appointments, I was first seeing my just family doctor, and she saw me up until 20 weeks, and everything was good with her. Never really had any sort of issues. Had the ultrasound, everything was good with the ultrasound. Had all my blood work up to that point with her, everything was good. No real issues. Like they check your blood pressure, which has always been perfect. They check, you have to pee in a cup all the time, which is actually, you think is going to be kind of difficult. I thought it was going to be at first, because at first like I just wasn't peeing a lot, but now I pee a lot. And I know, TMI, but that's one thing that's like, when people say that all they do is pee, it's kind of true. Near the end, that's all that happens. And she was very, very understanding. Like I didn't want to know what my weight was and stuff like that. I just that's a whole other story. But so she was really understanding. She's known my history, so that was good. I was really a little bit disappointed when I had to switch to another doctor, and my other doctor, my new doctor, she's super efficient in her appointments, which is good because it means I'm not there very long. Like appointments take like 15-20 minutes because I'm very low risk, like no complications. But I kind of miss the personal aspect from my family doctor. I liked having that kind of connection, and that's not really there. Like I go in, like the secretary will get the urine sample and weigh me, and then the doctor will take my blood pressure, kind of she always checks for the baby's heartbeat and does the measurement to make sure that like everything is where it's supposed to be, because they can feel where your uterus is, so she always does that. And that's basically the whole appointment. I haven't had any issues like baby related. Once I did go to the hospital that I would be delivering at because I freaked out, and I guess that can happen. I'm just gonna dive in here for a second. I had caved and bought my Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation because I missed it so much, and I got a sample, deluxe sample of some YSL stuff. So I'm trying out this new primer. My Holy Grail Corez primer is no longer available in Canada, and I'm so sad. I hope that changes soon. So I have no idea what this is like. It's like super glittery in the packaging, and it's supposed to be, it's the Touche Éclat Blur primer. So we'll see what this is like. So yes, I was saying I went to the hospital that I will be delivering at because I freaked out because I'd started to notice movement, and this was probably around 25, 26 weeks. I was feeling a lot of movement, and then the very next day I felt nothing. And in all my books it was kind of like hard to kind of count, but they said like if you're feeling movement and then you feel nothing, it's like you should go get looked at. And it wasn't until like near the end of the day when finally I just told my partner, I was like, I haven't felt anything. I felt a lot of like, he was super active yesterday and I didn't feel any movement today, so let's go get this looked at. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking because of course, like I'm a worrier, so I immediately feel like the worst has happened. So we went in and the nurse couldn't find the heartbeat at first, and she couldn't find it with a second machine, and finally she found it with the third machine. And what it was that he was in such a position, and I had so much placenta in the front that they couldn't get the heartbeat with the other monitors, and finally they got it. And it was just like it was hard to get even with that other one, which was super scary. And I was so concerned that something was wrong, that something had happened. But the nurse was really, really understanding, and she really calmed me down and really, assured me that she was like, everything is fine, the heartbeat is strong, he's good, it's just the way the position that he is in and how much placenta is there that it's blocking the movement, and it was making it hard to get the heartbeat. But yeah, everything was fine after that, and I definitely calmed down after that. So that was kind of like that was the one kind of scary thing that I experienced. Then I have had all that drama with my teeth, which I completely believe is pregnancy related. Like there was some crazy high number I read, like 85% of pregnant women get like pregnancy gingivitis. And I've always had teeth issues, but never this bad. And it just started like in June-ish, where I had the tooth that was keeping me up all night that I ended up getting the root canal on. And then just recently, one of my wisdom teeth, the tooth up on my top right side, was severely decayed, and it almost seemed to happen pretty suddenly, because I hadn't had any issues before, and even with x-rays, like, they never noticed any issues, and all of a sudden it was like this tooth is rotting away and they had to extract it. And it kind of concerns me that I'm gonna have more issues later on, like, because there's so many hormones and stuff going on. Like, it's just, I don't have dental insurance, and this was like one of those nerve-wracking things. Like, I worry about money and costs and stuff. That's been a tough part, being pregnant and not being like super rich, because it does cost a lot of money. And I don't just mean like the cost of raising a child, because obviously I knew all this before and I knew stuff was expensive, but when you really start looking into things like childcare, it's kind of terrifying how expensive it actually is. And so I'm very nervous for going back to work and, you know, finding a childcare place that's going to be, you know, the right fit for him, and the cost of everything, and, you know, you worry about job security, and it is very stressful. But I'm just a worrier by nature, and I always kind of think the worst is going to happen, which is terrible. But I'm excited and super scared. A few times, like, people have been talking and they're like, how does it feel? Like, you're gonna be a mommy, and it's just like, what? Like, I know, I'm at that age. It's not like I'm young. Like, I do get that a lot from people, especially because I work at a university, so a lot of people assume that I'm university age, and I'm 27, and when they kind of hear that I'm older than I am, it's like they're much more understanding than when they think that I'm like 20 years old or like 19. They're like, ooh, do you know what you're doing? It's like, yes, I've been with my partner for 5 years and we are having a baby that was planned. Like, it wasn't an accident, I guess, which is what some people seem to think. Just because, I guess, if you're not married, people don't think that you would plan something like this, I guess. And I just don't plan on getting married. Marriage has never really meant anything to me. I just, I don't know, I've never been a person who's like dreamed about my wedding day, or thought like, you know, I have to be super conventional and like I must get married before I have children. It's just not me. I'm not saying that like we'll never get married. It's just, it's not something that is important to me at this point. Like, with the laws here in Canada, we live together. We're basically considered common law. We pretty much have all the same rights as if we were legally married. Like, there's not a lot of difference between it besides the piece of paper, and it's just not, it's not something that's important to me, so that's why we're not married. Nothing against people who are married, choose to get married, all the power to you. I think it's great when people choose that and it's what they want, but it's not what I want. Yeah, I don't know if I've covered kind of everything baby angle. My mother's taking some time off at the beginning to kind of help me out and kind of show me the ropes. I'm really glad for that, because I don't know how I would like figure out everything on my own. I mean, I know like you would if you had to, but I feel so fortunate that she's taking the time and, you know, helping me figure stuff out. It's just, it's still kind of unreal to me at this point. Like, it still feels kind of strange and almost unreal, I guess, that in a few short months, like, everything changes and you can't really prepare yourself for that. And I know this is super rambly and all over the place, but I'm hoping you guys kind of are getting to know a little bit more about me and what's been going on, and kind of why I was like filming less for a while there when I wasn't doing so great. But it's been much better now. I'm hoping it continues to stay better now. Yeah. I don't really know what else there is to say. It's been pretty uneventful besides like the stuff with my teeth. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything for me. If there's anything in particular you wanted to know about, I could certainly answer questions if people had them. I've been trying not to freak myself out by reading too much, but also trying to make sure that I'm informed enough. That fine line. But I'm just excited at this point for it to happen, for him to be here, for things to change, to have a family, I guess, to experience that kind of stuff from the point of view eyeliner transferred. No, it's not just the worst. Yeah, so I don't know if I said a whole lot in this video that was what people wanted to hear. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's nothing really crazy has happened. So there really wasn't that much, you know, there's not much drama, not much to say that's So anyway, this pretty much ends the video, I guess. Pretty much how the full look finished. I just did, so that's what I did there. Just a little bit of pink and purple. So that is my little fancy electric palette get ready with me. I just did a little bit of pregnancy chat. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.